started, but I'm so happy that you're here because this is the last Erev Shabbos that we are having these trainings. And so I'm really excited to be able that we've been able to give it over each one to different group of people every week. So welcome, and I'm really excited that you made it.
Thank you, me too.
So today we want to focus in on 3 steps. Number 1, what do I want for Purim? What rituals, what will feel great? If I could dream up anything that I want on Purim, what do I want? So want to think about, want to think about putting it in context. We close ourselves off so much, it's hard to even think about what we want. Because we're so, oh good, here were some more people. We're thinking about so many other people and what they want and what the kids need and what our spouse needs and what our community is doing and how are we going to make this special for everybody else. But if you think about what you really want, please make sure, guys, that you use the chat or that you interact so that we have the most productive session possible, okay? So we want to think about what we want. And the 3 things that we want to think about when we're trying to figure out what we want is what will bring me the most joy? What will bring me the most joy? So I would love to hear you guys, stuff that happens on Purim. There is some form of mishlochei manot. There is some form of giving mata'anot le'avyonim, giving charity. There is some form of hearing the Megillah. And there is some form of eating a meal that is a commandment, a mitzvah, to wash, have some sort of bread product, and they call it like creating a foundational meal of the day. So those are the 4 things. I'd like you guys to take a second and either in the chat or on your piece of paper right now, just write in what would bring me personally. It's okay, even if it can't happen exactly as I would wish. That's going to bring me the most joy from, number 1, mishlochei manot. What's going to actually bring me personally the most joy? You could put it in the chat or you could write it on your paper. Okay, number 2, what's going to bring me the most joy from actually giving charity? Do you even give charity? I know until I asked myself this question, my husband did it every year. I had no connection to that part of the mitzvah. And so you want to ask yourself, these are the 4 basic foundations of Purim. Am I not getting joy from one of the 4? That's crazy. What would bring me joy in that aspect? Number 3, give everyone a sec. Hey, Randy, are you asking a question or are you just unmuted by accident?
Nope, unmuted by accident, sorry.
No problem. So number 3 is the actual meal. Oh, sorry. Yeah, we'll do meal first. There was a Megillah was 3, but we'll do the meal. No, meal is going to be number 3. What? It could be people will bring me joy at this meal. What foods would bring me joy at this meal? What feeling in my body? Remember, feeling means we feel it in our body. Do I want to feel calm? Do I want to feel present? Do I want to feel delighted? Do I want to feel enjoyable? Do I want to feel relaxed? Do I want to feel upbeat and full of energy and excited and doing? What's going to bring you? It's going to be different than me. The most joy at the actual meal. Being full and satisfied. Being tempted and indulged. You know, what really do you want? Because it could change year to year. It can change meal to meal. But this year, when you have time to think in advance, not impulsively, what do you want? And the last one is the Megillah. As women, we put so much thought into the food, into mishlochei manot and the Suda. It's hard depending on the ages of your children and the season of your life to focus, to think about, do I feel any spiritual connection to the Megillah? Do I feel any connection to the story of our people? Do I feel any connection to Esther and Queen Esther? And what I love about doing this a week before Purim, little over 10 days before Purim, is you really have a chance to say, wow, you know what? I actually haven't felt connected to the Megillah in a long time. I'd love to change that this year. What's one podcast I can listen to? What's one thing I can listen to about Queen Esther? What's one thing I can listen to? And it's crazy with what's happening in the world politically right now, how timely the story of Purim is, that we could actually connect to and connect to the Megillah. Okay, anybody have anything you guys would like to share that you wrote down that would bring you joy? I would love to hear it before we answer the next question.
I was sitting at the meal with my grandkids.
Yes. And what do you want to feel at the meal when you're sitting there?
I want to feel their joy with their costumes and with their participation in the Chag.
Amazing. Bela, Randy, do you guys want to share something? You can put it in the chat. You can unmute. Okay. Looking at the chat. Okay. If you want to share it, please feel free to just raise your hand or write in the chat. I should see a notification. Okay. So the next question that we're going to ask ourselves is, what detracts, what takes away from my joy on Purim? In those 4 areas, what takes away from my joy on Purim? Does my husband doing like the Matanot Le'Avionim, like I never realized that, like that's one of the 4 things. I never thought about that actually then I never get joy in it because we don't talk about it. We don't decide together where that money is going. It just happens. That takes away from my joy. I'd like to be involved in that somehow. What takes away from my joy with the Mishlochei Manot? When there's too much mess. When there's too much mess going into the day, because like the wrappers and the papers everywhere, that really takes away from my enjoyment of the mitzvah of doing anything with it. When there's just too much clutter and mess afterwards, and I feel like I'm the one at the end cleaning it all up. What's one thing that detracts from your joy of Megillah reading? What's one thing that detracts from your joy of Megillah reading? For me, it's when, I don't know, I think when I don't have my own Megillah and I end up sharing with the kids. Like it's not actually the noise or the kids. I love that. It's when, again, I guess I feel like I'm beside the point. Like I'm there to facilitate the holiday for everybody else, but I'm not an active participant in Megillah. And one of the things that's made it, just personally, if I can share, what's made it amazing for me is my son 4 years ago learned Megillah for his bar mitzvah. And hearing him read the Megillah, you too, is just, it's the most magical thing. Even just hearing him practice over Shabbos last week and this week, it's just, you know, it was so emotional and painful for the 1.5 years it took him to learn the thing, but now it's like an endless source of joy for years to come. Like all good things, right? They're hard in the beginning, but they're endless sources of joy in the years that follow once you master it. Okay.
And you see him proud of himself.
Oh, he's so proud of himself, and his grandfather got him a Megillah, and he's proud of himself, even though, of course, he doesn't remember it perfectly year to year. He always has to practice. And it's such a good lesson when I was watching him practice that he's not like shaming himself or criticizing himself that he would have to review. But when we make a mistake, or we haven't menu planned for Purim in a year, or we haven't thought about Pesach since last year, we're super full of criticism, right? Like, I should know this already. Why should I have to think about this again? Because of course, we always need to review.
Good point.
Okay, and then the Suda. What detracts from your joy at the Suda? For me, it's not being able to leave when I'm ready. If I'm being really, really honest, I love people. I love teaching. I love people in small groups. But when the Suda drags on too long, I want to go home, but everyone's having such a good time. I feel like it's rude and I can't. And I need to talk to my husband about being okay with going to take a break, like going on a walk and I can come back, going to just when I'm done with the day of Purim, I wanted permission to be done. And I think that's huge for me personally, is acknowledging that it's once I feel like I'm done, and then there's 3-4 more hours plus cleanup left, poor decisions happen to compensate for the, like someone cracked my joy bottle and all the joy of the day like fell out the bottom, and chocolate and all the other things can come in, try to close the cracks, but it's cracked. Versus when I notice it could be cracking, time to go to bed, time to be done, and figure out a plan for that. That I think would be huge for me. I'd love to hear you guys if you have any thoughts. If you could write in the chat, Randy, Bela, share something that detracts, Naomi, from your joy this year. What's something that when you realize and you look back, you're like, wow, yeah, that definitely detracts from my joy, and it's possible there might be a solution. Randy, yes.
For me, it's stress, because I'm always 80-20. I'm always 80% ready, and then it's the last 20 that I'm not ready, and then I just get very, very stressed out. And I could still have time, but that last 20% that I just feel like I can't get done, or there's too much at the same time, that for me stresses me out. And that's with all of it. That's with the Mishloach Manot, that's with getting to Megillah, that's with the suit, everything.
And isn't that cool that you realize it's not actually the food?
Yeah.
Like, I love
it. Build up.
So Randy, can I ask you a question? What's the 20% that usually gets left undone? Like for us, that's why I think I said the cleanup. I totally resonate with what you said. It's like the cleanup after the Mishloach Manot that like we're too tired at night to do, or just like the making the breakfast that morning, or the vegetable platter I cut up. It's just the clutter at the end that gets to me. What gets to you? What's the 20%?
So that, and also sometimes I'm not great with time management. And so I'll be thinking I have a lot of time to put the Mishloach Manot in the bag, or I got everyone else in the house to get ready for the Megillah, and then I realized I haven't finished myself yet, or everyone's ready to go, but the little kid doesn't have their shoes on, and we gotta run around the house looking for it. Just that little the little extra things. And it really isn't, like, my husband always laughs at me. He's like, you still have time. There is no stress, but somehow I always get stressed out.
Okay, so I want you to keep that in mind for what we're going to do in the second part of the session when we do the emotional freedom technique, okay? And working on letting that go, but also be practical and be like, okay, like, I see that my joy in Purim will be directly related to how much I'm ready before Purim. So can I lay the kids' clothes out? Can the kids lay their stuff out? Can the night before? Can we really have everything in bags labeled in the car the night before? Like, what would transform? You have time. That's why we're doing this now, not at the last minute. What would transform your Purim this year from something that's just so full of joy? And then in the last moment, we're going to use this technique to, in the moment, then when it's like a blueprint, right? Like once you're stamped, that Erev Purim, in that coming up to Megillah, no matter how right everything goes, your body is used to being stressed. Who's experienced that on an Erev Shabbos? It doesn't matter how ready you are. It hits 45 minutes before candle lighting and the internal siren is going up.
Yes.
Right? So the emotional freedom technique, the tapping that we're going to do in a few minutes, it really helps with the rechanging the way we feel emotion and handle it in our body. And that's why so many of these things aren't food related. We can give you techniques for having healthy food, for having food available. It's very simple. The rest of life is more complicated. Bela, does anything you want to share?
Sorry, I am driving. Yes, I just wanted to say that I with me, I'm stressed. I get to whatever Suda we are, which tends to be 2 or 3, which is always very complicated. And I'm like, oh, I'm eating again. Oh, what am I eating? I'm eating again, stuff like that. Yeah, it's very, very chaotic in a good way, but at the same time, afterwards, I feel disgusting. You come home and you're like, what just happened? So I don't want that to happen at all.
And when you said what would bring you the most joy, what was it about the Suda that brings you the most joy?
Knowing that I'm in control, having some kind of plan. I think I might lose you. I think that there.
Okay, we lost you right in the, come back when you're done. Okay. Hold on one second. I'm in the middle of a live recording and you need to leave the room now, please. Thank you. Not right this second. I appreciate it. Okay. So let's keep going. We were discussing, right. Okay. So you were
Emotional freedom.
Emotional freedom, right? Well, that's what we're going to do. So Bailey, you were talking about going to so many different Sudas. I totally relate to that. Naomi, I don't know if you've had that experience before,
Sure,
but
sure.
in fact, what we started doing is we wash and we do our own Suda at home, just us. And then we visit all the Sudas that we're invited to. Wow. And we just said, we're gonna give ourselves like lunch, proper lunch, and we're gonna feed ourselves and we're gonna spend a few minutes actually talking with our kids about Purim, actually connecting, and then we'll go visit everybody else's Suda. But I go with my water bottle, I go with my tea, and I just enjoy seeing everybody else. And then it also works for me because I don't feel like I'm locked in or pressured at everybody else's Suda. And we're having my in-laws this year, so it'll be just us and my in-laws, and then we can go around and see, we're blessed to have a lot of friends in different friend groups, and it was exhausting feeling obligated to stop at all the places, even though it was really fun. I know exactly what you mean, coming home and then just feeling like it was a tornado of eating instead of a celebration of the entire day, which included yummy, yummy food.
Right.
Okay. So I'm going to ask you guys to go on mute, please. Oh, sorry, Naomi, did you want to share anything first about what you want? No, you're good? Okay. Sabrina, also, if you can mute yourself, just make sure you're muted. I can't see.
Not sure if I am. Hold on. Okay.
No, I hear you. Okay, perfect. The reason I want you guys to mute for this part is this is personal, and I want you to really say the words that you need to say. And you will only do that in the privacy of your own space. And I will speak the words, but I trust you guys, and I'm doing this for myself and also for all of you. So anything that stays in the space, stays in the space, no judgments. So the first part of the emotional freedom technique is understanding that you feel emotion in your body. Okay. Like, of course, I feel emotion in our body, but very often we're like, I am stressed. The name in your brain for the feeling in your body is stress. But what is stress? Stress is the tension in your neck, the low back, the shoulders that are rounding forward, the stomach that's like gurgling with acid, right? The headache that's right here. That's stress. Anxiety could be this hunching. All these things are actually physical sensations that your body translates into what you personally call stress, or you personally call anxiety, or what you personally call being rushed or out of control. How many times do we say out of control? What out of control physically feels like for you is different than anybody else. The most amazing thing that is scientifically proven about EFT, emotional freedom technique, sounds like it's a little woo-woo, tapping, reflexology, like we're going into the woo-woo space. It's actually incredibly scientifically proven with a lot of data, and that's growing and growing and growing and growing. And if you have ever felt a food compulsion, I have to eat this bag of chips right now. I have to go back and eat more chocolate. Then this is the only thing personally that I have found that helps with that sensation, the physical, like you sit down, you're like, go on a walk, but you come back and you go to the pantry and you sit down and you go to the other room and you get your tea, but you still are thinking about chocolate because it's in the other room and you know it's there. And literally it's like you're holding your body back. It's in your body, the compulsion to go eat. And emotional freedom technique really helps with that. And it doesn't just help with it, in the sense of crazy, compulsive, very powerful, deep things. It actually helps in day-to-day stress. It helps in, I'm feeling a lot of tension when I have to pay my bills. I'm feeling a lot of tension when I have to get my little kids out to school. The more that we work on releasing the patterns in our body that don't serve us, every time, 20 minutes before we light candles, I get tense and anxious. That is a pattern that's in my body, and we can release that with work over time with the emotional freedom technique. So if this is your first time ever tapping, you get better with practice, okay? Everyone is a beginner. Everyone is a beginner sometime. It's okay. What you want to think about is following with me, okay? Saying the words out loud, and there's no right or wrong way, okay, to do it. Here is the way it starts. You always start with the karate chop point of the hand. Okay, we're gonna start here. I'm just gonna show you all the points, okay? And you might start at the beginning. I always start very aggressively. I don't know why, I'm like chop, 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 but you could be gentle, be gentle. I find that once I start to get positive, I get more gentle with myself, right? Sometimes at the beginning, I'm a little bit aggressive with myself. Then you go to the top of your head, right here. Okay, right here. You're going to go to right above the eyebrow line. This is going to be our next spot. Okay, and you're going to see this makes perfect sense. These are the areas where we really store energy in our body. You're going to go right to the sides of the eyes, the temples. Who doesn't recognize having stress and tension headaches in these areas, right? It makes perfect sense. Right above, right under the nose, above your lips. Here, this area, if you've ever felt like deep shame about what you've eaten very often, it's right here. Feel a lot of tension, maybe break out here on the chin. If you're having hormonal imbalances from your stress hormones, it's all right here. So we break out in the T-zone area, okay? Then we have the collarbone. The collarbone is the attachment to the shoulders. It's one of the reasons why it's one of the spiritual parts of tzniut, modesty, is because actually our collarbone, right here around our collarbone, is that energy, kind of where our vibrations are giving off from our shoulders. When we're feeling bad and we're thinking bad thoughts and feeling bad in our body, right? What happens? We round forward. You can't do that and tap at the same time. You have to sit up. You can't reach your collarbone otherwise. And the last part is right here under the arm. This is where all of your autoimmune function goes. Why is stress horrible for autoimmune? Right? It increases your risk of disease, your amount of times you'll get even flu and common cold, everything. All of your white blood cells and your, a lot of your, I forgot what that area of the body is called. I'm a little tired, right over here. And so we're going to tap over here. And that's going to help to release everything. So we also, reducing cortisol in the body helps with weight loss. No matter what you're eating, if you have more cortisol, you're going to end up storing more body fat. You're going to end up storing more body fat here. It is anti-longevity. It decreases your quality and quantity of days you will be on this earth. EFT is a powerful tool. It's not the only tool, but it's a very powerful tool, and it's worth learning about, reading about, trying different practitioners. I am not an expert. I've done some training on it, but I would not call myself an expert. What I am is somebody who practices it for her own health and well-being, and somebody who is bringing you an invitation to try something new. So if you're with me, we're going to get started. And the hardest thing for me when I started EFT was the first part, and that's owning negative thoughts and feelings. And what we want to do is we're using these points in the body to decrease the cortisol response in the body to those thoughts and feelings. We're going to heal and allow our body to feel safe even when we're thinking these negative thoughts. Okay, so I hate being stressed on Purim. I hate being so overwhelmed by the small details that I completely miss out on the joy of the day. I hate that feeling of ending Purim, feeling sick and regretful and ashamed and criticizing myself. I don't like that I believe that I can't have an amazing Jewish holiday experience and not gain weight. It hurts that I believe that. It really hurts that I believe that I can't have the kind of amazing, enjoyable, fun, perfectly delightful, real life holiday experience and not gain weight. I think that if I say what I really want and I can't have it, that's going to be worse than not letting me even think about what I want. If I think about what I want and I can't have it, it's just going to make everything so much worse. So I close my eyes to what I don't like and I make the plans that make everybody else happy. And I know that I'm going to end Purim feeling resentful, even though checked all the boxes and I should have had a good time and the memories and the pictures are there, but really they're coated with a lot of stress that I know doesn't need to be there and I don't know how to fix it. Under the eyes here, I see that I'm part of the problem and that really hurts. I see that I'm part of the problem and it really hurts. It really hurts that I'm part of the problem because I really want it to be different. And I know that I could be part of the solution, but I'm also really part of the problem. Under the nose, I accept these thoughts and I love myself as I am. I accept these thoughts and I love myself as I am. I accept these thoughts and I love myself as I am. Chin. I find it really stressful, all the little details that have to be in a certain order to make everything work. All the details, the mishloach manot has to get done at this time, and then I have to have the vegetables ready, and then I have to make sure I have my water bottle. If I get in the car without my water bottle, then the whole day is not going to be good. And gosh, if everything doesn't go exactly the way I want it to, then no matter how much I want to have a good Purim, I'm not going to feel good. I'm just not going to feel good. It's really hard that I make everything I want so complicated to be successful. It's really hard that I make everything I want so complicated to be successful. So complicated, so many things to do to be successful. Under the arm, I love and accept myself as I am today with complicated desires. I love and accept myself for my complicated desires. I love and accept myself, the fact that I'm part of the problem and I want different things. I love and accept myself for where I am today. And you can continue these rounds as long as you need till you start to feel like, wait, you know what? Not all of this is really true. There's something else coming up, something else I'm starting to think on the top of your head. I believe that I can make a change. I know change is possible. I know change is possible. I see people change every day. I've changed over the years. My perm has changed over the years. Things change. I want you to think about right now while you're tapping here a success, something you've successfully improved in your life. Think about something you've successfully improved in your life. Perm above your eyebrows. I know that I actually could think about, maybe discuss with my husband, a different plan for this year that would make me more calm and more present where I am. I could definitely see myself, doing, having a conversation. Take a minute and I want you to think about what you'd want to talk to your husband about, what you'd want to bring up to your family about this year that would increase your joy. Just think about something you've thought about, something you'd like to maybe do a little bit differently. Something small that it's really possible. Side of the eyes. Take a minute and visualize a picture of yourself. It's dark outside. Purim is over. The house is quiet. Where are you? You're calm. You're so satisfied. You can't believe the amazing memories that you had this year. You really felt like a miracle happened. Where are you? See yourself there. Wow, this year was really amazing. It really was. Under the eyes. I want to have a calm and relaxed Purim that's actually connected to my values. I want to have a calm and relaxed Purim that's really connected to my values. I want to have a calm and relaxed Purim that's really connected to my values. Under the nose. I know that no matter where I am or who I'm with, whether or not I connect to my values is completely in my control. No matter where I am or who I'm with, if I connect to my values, that is totally my decision. I can choose what I want to do in any circumstance, in any situation. And I can do it from a place of connecting to my values. It's safe to connect to my values. It's safe to want to be happy. The chin. All the people in my life benefit when I'm happier. All the people in my life benefit when I am happier. So everyone in my life wants me to be happy. Everyone in my life wants me to be happy. And everybody benefits when I'm happy. When I'm happy, I'm more generous, I'm more giving, I'm more patient, I'm more calm. Everybody wants me to be happy. Collarbone. All is well. All is well. I'm already going to have a more successful Purim because of what I'm doing right now. I'm already going to have a more successful Purim because of what I'm doing right now. All is well. All is well. All is well. Under the arm. I accept and love myself for who I am today, and I give myself permission to keep growing and changing. I love and accept myself for who I am today, and I give myself permission to keep growing and changing. I love and accept myself for who I am today, and I give myself permission to keep growing and changing. It's so easy to think about what I don't want and turn that into what I do want. It is so easy to think about what I don't want and then turn that into what I do want. It is so easy to think about what I don't want and turn that into what I do want. Top of the eyebrow. Think about something else in your life. A moment where you figured out what you really wanted and you went for it. Any area, think about a moment where you just all of a sudden felt clear. This is what I want. And you just went for it. Be there. Side of the eye. I can see that this year will be better than last year. I can see that this year will be better than last year. I've already decided that this year is going to be better than last year. I know this year is going to be better than last year. I already feel like this year is already better than last year. I'm already more prepared than I was last year. I'm already focused on the right things this year. Wow, all is well. Under the eyes. I love Purim. And I love being healthy and feeling well. I love Purim and I love being healthy and feeling well. I love Purim and I love being healthy and well. I love Purim and I love being healthy and feeling well under the nose. I'm so grateful that there's 4 different parts of Purim to connect to. I'm so grateful that there's 4 different parts of Purim to connect to. And I'm so grateful that I know what I don't want so that I can focus on what I do want. I'm so grateful that I showed up exactly where I was supposed to be today. Chin. Thank you to yourselves. Thank you deeply. Thank you for showing up today. Thank you for showing up for me today. I really needed you today. You really showed up for me. Thank you. I really appreciate you. Collarbone. I love and accept myself and the Purim that I'm gonna have this year. I love and accept myself and all parts of the Purim that I'm gonna have this year. I love and accept that there will be moments of stress over Purim, moments of overwhelm, moments where old feelings of lack of control come up, but all is well. And I'm so grateful that I can remind myself in those moments, all is well, all is well, all is well, all is well. Under your arm. I love and accept myself for who I am today. And I'm really excited about the me she's becoming. I love and accept myself for who I am today. And I'm really excited about what's coming. I love and accept myself for who I am today. And I'm really curious about what's coming. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna go in between the fingers for a minute. And we're just gonna tap in between the thumb and the forefinger. And we're going to finish off like this. All is well. I am deeply connected to Purim. All is well. I am deeply connected to Purim. Between the fingers. All is well. I am in control of my choices. All is well. I'm in control of my choices. Next finger. Whenever I feel stressed, or like I'm losing control, I know exactly what to say to get back to feeling good. I know exactly how to choose again. Whenever I feel stressed, I can choose again. Between the pinky, I can choose again. I can choose again. Back to the karate chop point where we started. I'm so grateful that I can choose again. All is well. anytime I see something I don't want, I can choose what I want and know that all is well. All is well. Hands up. Deep breath. Really, congratulations for showing up today. I'd love to hear some feedback from you guys. How was your experience? What was an insight that you had or thought that you feel comfortable sharing? Naomi, you want to go first?
I'm going to be traveling to family, so I'm going to start preparing a lot earlier than that day or the day before. There are definitely things that I can prepare in advance. If it's baking, I can freeze it. I don't have to leave things to the last minute. Thank you.
Randy, you have anything that you want to share? How was the experience for you?
So it was a little strange, I'm not gonna lie, at first. But I really enjoyed, this is gonna sound funny, but I really enjoyed listening to your voice as you said all of it. And then I just kept thinking about how I don't have to be stressed and I could just hear your voice and I will calm down and I will prepare earlier and also have a conversation with my husband about how to make it so it's less stressful going into it or for me at the end, really.
Amazing, amazing. Bela, anything? I know you're driving. If you have a connection, we'd love to hear from you.
Actually, so I've done a little tapping, or not a lot, just like I went to a session at one point. So it wasn't as weird as I thought it might be. And the fact is, when you talk about like connecting to Purim and everything, that was really inspiring because here I am concentrating on all these surfacey things, and I have been for years. And it never really occurred to me that I could make a connection for myself on Purim and have that as this greater goal rather than stressing about all these little tiny details, which nobody but me is going to see. Nobody. And that was really inspiring. So thank you for that.
I'm
That's great.
so happy. That's really the point of this process and why I call it the spiritual ideal weight blueprint is when we exit the obsession with food and we put food in a context of a greater picture of our life. Then we're talking about living our ideal life. And of course, living in a body that feels excellent and feels healthy and feels nourished is a part of that. And yes, even looking in the mirror and recognizing the person you see is also a part of that. But it's now, okay, you see her in the mirror, what's she doing? Once you have a body that you're proud of, if your midot, if your character traits are not beautiful and you're not connected spiritually, you're just going to put the weight back on because you still don't really like who you see. You know, we want to have alignment, and I'm so happy that you came open and everybody, it was just this is our final Friday session. And so I hope you really guys have enjoyed the series. Make sure that you guys are on the email list so that you are getting the recording of this session, and have a beautiful and amazing Shabbat Shalom. And from now on, when you light Shabbat candles, recognize how many of these points we touch when we cover our eyes to light Shabbat candles.
Impressive.
Okay?
Beautiful.
Shabbat
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Shalom.
Chodesh
Lily.
Tov,
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom. Happy Purim, everyone.
Happy Purim.